Okay, so in this video, we are going to be looking at Infiniti G35 and G37. So it is someone sent me these two cars to more like give my own opinion. I won't call it a review, to share with other people. Actually, um, especially those who are interested in performance vehicles that that are not as when it comes to supercars, you can get these cars just more or less, especially the coupe version sports car, but not like those exotic sports cars. That's at the price, but they can serve you almost similar purpose. So um, I know I've been seeing them, but I've not actually taken interest to look at the car specifications, what they are made of. And I know about Ultima, but these two cars, G35 and the rest, 37, you know. So I've done that, and I wanted to share. The reason why I want to share them is one, um, they have in fact, the most important thing is both for saloon and the coupe, they have V6 manuals. V6 manuals. So that's what really made these cars very interesting. They were produced from 2003 to 2015. Um, so, I think there was a particular year where only the coupe was produced. The later sedan also continued. Production continued. I don't know if they had estate or wagon, but I know they have saloon. So it started off with G35 first, then later I think the G37. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was more like a successor of G35. So like we have Peugeot 406, 407, something like that. So now the G35, I don't know if they have four-cylinder engines, so I'm not going to focus on all that. My interest is on those V6 engines. So the engine in them are popularly known as VQ 35 engines. No, okay, VQ engines. So for the one in G35, that the earlier model is VQ 35 DE, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, DE. Which is anyway. Before I get to the engine, let's just look at the cars first. So this is the saloon version. This is the front view saloon of G35. Um, I don't know if it was facelifted before the G37 came out. It's possible. Like I said, please note that I'm not an expert or specialist on Infinity, but I just have some understanding. So towards the end of the video, I also talk about some of the issues, what I gather from um, users that understand these systems and how they were able to resolve them. So I'm going to point them out. You know. So this is G35, if I'm not mistaken. The front view. This is the saloon. Let's look at okay. So this is the station. The rear view of the that can see the badge here. So the saloon. This is the rear view. So let's look at the G37. So this is the G37. So this is the front view. I hope I got it right. So you can see it has been refreshed. Looks a little bit better. I don't know. The G35 also is okay. I mean, I'm not going to say uh, this one is okay as well. So It's just that when something is new and you look and see if it looks better, this is okay as well. Um, but when you look at the other one, you can tell it's newer. You know. So this is also the saloon G37. Um, like I said, both have manual VCs and automatic VCs. So let's look at. So now this is the coupe version of the G35. You can see from here is the almost similar front headlights. So of course the focus here for me is the coupe. But I know there are a number of people that would rather go for saloon because the reason why people go for coupe most times is because when it comes to performance cars, they don't put manual transmission on the saloon or sedan. It's only the coupe version. But in this case, they put both manual on the coupe and the saloon. However, what I observe is same engine though, however, but they reduce the power on the saloon and increase the power on the coupe, especially for the manual. So, in other words, they are trying to encourage people to buy. The coupe will have more performance packages, or with design to perform better. Or that one I mean perform, I mean the handling. They'll do it in such a way that it will handle better than saloon. So sedan. So this is the front view of this coupe. So the G35. So this is the rear view of the G35 coupe. In other words, the coupe for this, I think the coupe looks better for the G35. The G35 coupe, both the front and the rear view looks better than the saloon. That's my own opinion on this. This is an opinion, not a fact. Based on both of them are looks very good. It's now a matter of a test, narrowing down to a test. So now this is the coupe version front view of the G37. So you can see the front view, they all resembles the saloon versions. So this one also looks good. I mean, as good as the saloon looks on the G37, the coupe kind of makes more sense to me. So this is the rear view of the G37 coupe. It has the almost similar, it might not be identical, similar look of the G35 coupe rear view. So in other words, only the front view that looks completely different. Okay, maybe we'll look at it later, but it appears, let's check it again. It's almost the same. G35 and G37, almost similar. Though I could see difference, a little bit difference on the tail lights, but the bumper, they are not identical though, So yeah, I can understand that. They are not identical, but they look similar. My point is when you look at both cars from the rear, you could tell they are same brand, almost similar cars. So let's go to the engine. Now the G35, which is the first production, which is before G37. So what he had was 3.5 liter V6 engine, and the power varies, started all the way from 260 horsepower, quite impressive, to up to 300 horsepower. I think probably more than 300. As I think they were just year after year, they were revising it a little, adding more power or something like that. But I could tell you, like I mentioned earlier, the coupe manual has more power than this saloon manual. I think the automatic, I don't know if the same power with the manual. But what I'm saying, if you want more power or something, then you have to go for the coupe, especially for the manual. But the difference is not that much, maybe uh, is it 10 horsepower or I don't know, something like that difference. So you see there are many the power varies 260 horsepower, 280, 292, 300, 330. I don't know, is it 300? I think approximately 300. It could be more. And the point is this is the G35. So in terms of that, it has a one throttle body with the air filter. So let's look at the G37, the one that succeeded this. Um, even this one, that I think they later revised it. They said there was a model, if I'm not mistaken, the model that had addition. I think the first one had only one VVT solenoid. Then there was another model that had two VVT solenoid. I think so. A newer version of this engine. This is the V Cure 35DE, 3.5 liter engine. Okay, um, so this is the V G37 engine, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a 3.7 liter engine. So this thing is variable valve something something. I know the L represent lift. I don't know what this. I've forgotten what this E means. So this is 3.7 liter. As you can see, it has two throttle bodies. So you can easily identify it with this. Outside this cover, you can see air filter box here. Then I don't know if it's two throttle body though. Maybe it's only one, but it could be two. But you can see the design here shows these two throttle bodies. So so this one has more power, up to 300 to 3 watts, 330, 330 horsepower or something. Quite a lot compared to about 30 more horsepower than the G35 engine. That's V Cure 35DE. But this one is known as V Cure 37. V Cure. Hold on, let me note it down somewhere. VQ 37, VQ 37 VHR. There's another one, another VQ 35. It says VQ 35 HR. That one, I don't know about it much. You know, I know it's VQ 35 series. So which probably you'll find in G35. So with this, you find it in G37. So this has more power. Now, there's something I need to explain. Now, this one you find in G35, the VQ, this is the engine model VQ 35GE. So, what I've realized is that you can use regular fuel on this one. Actually, the recommended fuel quality is premium fuel. Unfortunately, you won't find them in Nigeria. I don't think they sell this kind of fuel in Nigeria. So some people, even outside in the North America, Europe, have used the regular fuel or the type of fuel they sell in Nigeria or something close to that. And most claimed, not all some, most claimed it did not affect the engine. But the only thing they observed was it reduced the engine power. It reduced the engine power, but it didn't affect the engine like it damaged the engine or anything. But let's assume the power like the one in Cool that says, is it 298? Basically 300 horsepower or something. So you might take off some HP figure. Who knows, maybe 10 horsepower, reduce it to 290 or 280. Who knows? I don't know. I'm saying they realized that the car wasn't as responsive. They said towards the red line, it was no longer as quick as it was when they were using the premium fuel. But at least they were able to use the car. So it's just that we have to sacrifice some power to use this with the regular or normal fuel. So in Nigeria, this one makes sense if you must be this uh, vehicle engine. But this is no go area on Nigerian road or in Nigeria. Do not try this one. They say it must be. According to people who have tried, they say it must be. Don't even bother. Hey, I don't know. I've not owned any of them or worked on any of them or even know anybody that use this. I'm just working with some of the DIY people talk, as they were talking both on posts, videos, and the rest. I could tell, okay, they know what they are saying, apart from what the other people are talking, as in people that actually did the test and came out and said this was their findings. So it wasn't about what other people are saying that some people are just repeating. So they were saying this one no go area. If you know you can't, you don't live in a environment where you can access premium fuel that costs higher than the regular fuel, then don't bother to buy this. In other words, G37 with, I think there are some G37 that have that 3.5 liter engine. That's the VQ 35GE V6 engine. So yeah, probably the early G37 have that engine. Some have that engine, not all. So, but this is like the most, I think so, the most common engine on the G37. So unless if you must be that G37 and you want to use it in Nigeria, then it means even if there are just very few that were produced with that 3.5 liter V6 engine, then look for it. Even if they are, you have to. Otherwise, just get the G35. But at least you can identify the engine by looking at it, you know. So this is one. If you live in Nigeria or any country where premium fuel, I don't know how many of them, if maybe it could be more than one quality rather than premium fuel. So it's not that we don't have it in any form at all here. So that's why I don't even know much. I don't have 87, 10, 91, 93, 98, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's those figures, but we don't even have any one. In fact, I don't even know whether the one we use in Nigeria is up to 50 or 10, whatever. So, who knows? So this is one. Maybe it might have some effect on the engine, but at least about 3 people that did the test. One said 4 years, no problem with the engine. One said he used it for 1 month. He didn't notice any issue, no pinging noise, nothing. Because most people were claiming online, if you use it, the engine will be making pinging noise. If you use regular fuel on this engine, it will be making sound as if the engine wants to detonate or knock, making knocking sound, all those things. But they said no. He tested it for 1 month, but no such thing. Use the premium fuel, same thing. One said what he observed was the fuel consumption reduced when he used the regular normal fuel quality on this engine. It reduced the fuel, no, not that it increased the fuel consumption a little. But then people are saying, I mean, these cars consume fuel compared to the normal standard V6 engines, considering their power. So you're not buying this car with this engine for fuel economy anyway. So there's not much difference if you are talking about high fuel consumption with normal fuel with this engine. So that's the only thing I'll say. So even if there's any other issue it could cause on this engine, I'm not aware of it. I'm not claiming there is not, but from people that actually did the test and they came out publicly and with showing their face and saying they've done this test and with their own car they experimented on it. This was their finding, and so far there was no issue. It's possible somebody have done it and they damaged the engine. I'm yet to come across it. I'm just putting it out there as someone who is not an expert on Nissan or Infiniti brand. So, okay, moving on. So, So something I want to now point out. So we are going to focus on G35 now, since because at the end of the day, um, is for us in Nigeria, this is what we could have, or you look for a way to find this G37 or the coupe. Now this one, maybe see if we can find one with that will have the 3.5 liter engine. So let's just go back to the one that you find that is like standard. You get a standard, common. The G35 is common on this one. So both the saloon and coupe, automatic, manual. So that's a good thing about this car. So I don't know much about the positive of the engine. I know they have so much power. One good thing about this as well is rear wheel drive. Both the saloon and the sedan, saloon and coupe, if I'm not mistaken, it's rear wheel drive. They are not front wheel drive. Though Infiniti, I think they'll make a front wheel drive car, but in this case, is it okay? Maybe they do. I don't know, but I know Ultima. Most of their cars are front wheel drive. Infiniti and Infiniti is the luxury brand of what's it called? Ultima. No, Nissan. Infiniti is the luxury brand of Nissan. Just I have Lexus as the luxury brand of Toyota. So that's how. Then Acura as the luxury brand of Honda. So that's what it is with Infiniti. So I know Nissan, they make mostly front wheel drive. They have cool cars as well that are even front wheel drive, which later I will talk about one of them. But now, this one is rear wheel drive. So, which has its own issues. I'm going to come to that. So I'm going to talk about some of the issues, some of these guys that are technicians, not just users. They're also technicians and some users who actually have understood the system. There are people who actually, like, I'm a fan or a Pojo freak that have used quite a number of Pojo, repair or work on them for other people, currently own, some of them. So I can tell you from authoritatively, these are some of the issues you encounter on a particular model of car, which means, Pojo, which means that most likely you will experience it. There are some I will tell you, no matter what happens, you're going to experience it, unless you use the car for a short period. If not, you must experience that issue. But this is how you can solve it or prevent it from constantly happening. Something like, or this will be a permanent. This is how you can fix it for good. That's what an expert could, advantage of listening to an expert or someone who have used the car, a DIY person, understand it very well. Okay. So one of the things they complained about is oil consumption. They say you can't run away from it. As in, based on standard that you cannot, you expect it that they consume a lot of oil. You could try so many means, but it's just they are oil consumers or guzzlers. I don't know which oil. Is it 5W40? I don't know what actually is recommended for them. I didn't research more on that. Maybe I will in future. But I think it's either 5W40 or 5W30. Or that they recommended 5W30. Then some say they use 5W40 and you reduce the consumption, at least drastically. But there were no claim that they use it without 5W40 for a long time and there was no engine issue. So I hope I'm not missing it up. So you guys can look it up. But that was one of the positions of people too, that they increase the oil, they change it to a little bit thicker oil, but still synthetic and light, and the consumption will reduce, but it's still consuming, but not as much as with the recommended one. So they say if you want to fix it for solve the problem, I don't want to say for good, it means you have to remove the cylinder head, or top the engine, remove the pistons, change the rings, and most likely with the pistons as well. Which will be an expensive repair. So, or you just live with that problem and keep topping up. Okay, so that is it. Um, then they said there's one issue that you find in most of the G35. Um, they said this G35, I'm not talking about only the coupe mostly, because most of those guys buy coupe, not the saloon, but G35, G35. So they said if you are buying a used one, chances are that some of the suspension bushings must have failed, but not all. They said some, depending on the one you are buying. They said the reason why is most people, because these are performance cars, they will go and lower the car lower. They will bring the car height or ground clearance lower. And according to them, this user, they say it affects the suspension bushes. It weakens them faster. So if you end up with that kind of modified car, check your suspension bushes. Most likely they have all failed, or most of them have given up. So, and if you leave it in that condition, they will keep weakening them as you are changing. So, if you can, if you are not really into, sporty like that, leave them as they are, as factory made. The ground car, don't go and start to lower them to look cool, you know, because the way they made them, they will handle very well as they were made. But reducing them doesn't, or what they are saying, doesn't necessarily mean they will handle better than factory made. So there's no need to actually reduce it. Just that people like it to look nice or nicer by doing that. But then they will start to suffer suspension issues. So, but they also give some options. If you lower it, there's a different brand of those suspension bushings you can use for them to last longer with that lowered suspensions. Forgetting the name. Is what they say? Don't buy OEM. Don't buy the OEM bushings for so once you have tampered your suspension, bring the car low. Don't buy OEM bushings. There's a one they called it. I've forgotten. You can research on that. Then something they now mentioned. Let me show you guys. They say it's a very common issue with this G35, no, VQ35G engine. Let's see. So I'm not sure this is the exact image, but something like this. I got this from online, so I hope these are the correct sensors. So they said this engine 3.5 liter suffer from camshaft position and crankshaft position sensors failure, constant failure that they suffer it. So if you are buying it, expect that this issue will come up. And of course, one thing about this, uh, especially the is it both in fact both sensors, if any of them fails, especially the camshaft position sensor will be giving you a hard start. The camshaft position, it will give you a hard start issue. Sometimes you crank it the first time and not start, maybe second time to start. I don't know if that's the symptom it will give on G35, but I'm saying generally that's their symptom once the sensor is faulty. So, however, the crankshaft position sensor, if it becomes faulty, the engine might not even start at all until you change it. That one is clear. Unless maybe this particular Infiniti engine is different. The crankshaft position sensor, unless it's partially faulty, then maybe it might start sometime won't start. But if it got permanently this one, the camshaft position sensor is, if it's permanently faulty, the car will still start. Most of the time it will start. But only that it will do hard start. And then the engine power will drop because the engine will be will be running the engine as if the timing is off. So it will reduce the engine power. So they said the advice about two persons gave was avoid buying aftermarket. That just buy OEM. That's their claim. I don't know. Maybe they are not correct. They said they tried it aftermarket. They mentioned the brands. Was something I'm not an expert on. You might not really pick the name. So they mentioned the brand, which I do not know about. They said they tried it. It was worse than this thing. So they ended up buying OEM, which worked. But they said this is what the OEM looks like. It's pure. It's complete plastic. That the stock one, the one the car was produced with, is complete plastic. But they say later they revised it so that if you buy the current OEM now, this part will not be metal. So that if you are buying, do not buy this one that has plastic or two. So buy the one that the bottom part is metal. That one now lasts longer. Let me show you another part of it. Something like this as well. So like I said, I don't know which one is camshaft position sensor or crankshaft. They just posted these pictures and I kind of saw it online and screenshot them. So that's one of the issues. But it can be solved. At least you know what you're looking at. Because once any of them fails or start failing, it will start behaving as if your timing is off. Which may, if you don't know, if you go and scan the ECU, it will tell you. If you work with the interpretation of the ECU, what it means is your timing is not correct. So you need to remove the timing chain and set it well. But now that you know that, before you go there, understand that these things, the sensors that are monitoring the sensor, your timing, chain, and the rest, the setting, they tend to fail. And when they fail, they will start giving a report as if your timing is not correct. The other issues is they said the valve covers or cylinder head covers. So that the valve covers, just like most engines, they tend to leak oil over time. The valve cover gasket, in other words, after a while they will fail. So it's not peculiar to this engine, the 3.5 V6 engine in G35 and the G37, or some of the G37. But if you don't fix that leakage, if you don't remove it and change those gaskets or to fix them, they start causing problem, entering into your spark plug area, setting on your spark plug, causing misfire, and it will create a mess on your engine, oil everywhere. So now the solution is change the gasket and remove the cylinder head covers, change the gasket, and they go away. Of course, cylinder head cover, there are two. Remember, it's V6. So that's the solution to that. Then they said the window, you remember, especially the coupe, there are windows, the front windows, I think it was the two person that talked about it, we are using the coupe, so I don't know if it applies to saloon G35 as well. So said the coupe, there are window motors, the mechanism that call it window motors. That's what lift the windows up and down. So they said they don't last. That's one of their weaknesses. So you should know that they don't last. They tend to fail. So that the easiest solution is to replace them. That they are very cheap. The new motors, don't even bother buying used. That's the advice. Don't buy used ones. Buy new ones. They are very cheap. The other thing I don't know is, like, a country like Nigeria, do they sell these new motors for this window, this thing? But if I buy used ones, since they don't last, though they say at least the issue, most times they fell from 100,000 kilometers and above usage of the vehicle. So it's not like standard. But I'm saying expect it at that time. So I don't know if you're buying used one, it's possible that one too probably have gotten close to that mileage or not. Maybe it fares less than that or much higher than that. So it will make sense. The person that mentioned it, that video say it's less than $50, about $30 to $40 per each. So in that case, over there is very cheap. This is new one, remember. But here, so let's just sell it new here, then it will make sense. Another thing they mentioned is they said door lock actuators. Um, for the coupe, maybe same thing with saloon G35. The coupe, so they said it's usually faulty. The doors won't be opening or closing most sometimes. So they tend to fail as well. It can be fixed or I don't know, or replaced. So my point at least they are aware that such thing happen, but it doesn't. It's not peculiar issue with G35. You know, most cars suffer that issue as well over time. So I mean, 407 is known for that. They said the one we call the door lock mechanism, the one we call in Nigeria door catcher. You know that if you have a 407, you probably must have experienced that. You know, so they tend to fail. So it's not like the only issue, you know, that it's only this car that have that issue. So let's be fair. Um, Now one major thing that about this Infinity is they say because it's rear wheel drive, so even my 505, remember my Peugeot 505 is rear wheel drive, so it has a bushing at the back that is holding the rear differential. The for the my 505 there are two bushings. Um, this one is actually one bushing, one round bushing for this car that is holding the rear differential. But the problem is the design. So this one is fluid based bushing. Unlike my 505 that's just bushing, just you know how bushing is, those thick rubbers. So if it fail, it will cut and the rest. So this one is they fill it the bushing inside with fluid. I don't know. To me, it's a poor design. I don't understand. Maybe to help it to dampen the vibration. I don't know. So they say over time, the those fluid will start leaking out from the bushing. So once it dries out, the bushing is dead. You know. Um, so that's a and they said to change that bushing. Wow, this I say it's not a job. Everybody looks out for, but this thing they tend to fail. There's one guy he said there's a way they fixed his own. They didn't need to replace it. They refilled it with something else that looks like a fluid, and now it seems that when the thing entered inside, it hardened like rubber. So there's no need for it to now leak again on the bush. The bush, leak out. So which to the person will now last much longer, like a permanent fix, rather than buying another one that will take you who knows days to remove and put, only for it over time to start leaking again. So I want to know, but from what they are saying, it's just like 505 one. If that thing breaks, you can still drive. Only that you'll be getting noise from the rear sometimes. So their own too. Sometimes I say if you try to drive the car, for very hard, yeah, that the tail may start bouncing, something like that. This because the differential is no longer stable. So as you push the car very hard, yeah, it will it will not stay stable. So that's one of the weaknesses of the G35. I don't know about G37. Maybe it applies to it as well. I don't know. Since they look similar, have similar design. So I'm just pointing it out. What else? Um, there's something I need to show. The coolant line, very important. So it's a very poor design. So there is this line here that takes coolant, I think, into the cabin of the car or something. I don't know if exactly, but I know it's for what I saw from about three videos some users put out is on the front right side of the engine bay. So this is the one that comes. This is the stock one that comes with the car. It's plastic all through. You can see this bleed. This is where you bleed it. Likewise here. So over time, it will break because it's pure plastic. So because it's coolant, man, hot coolant, over time it can last. So it will burst out water and then start to. You might be driving on high speed to just burst and splash fluid everywhere. So The advice is don't wait till it breaks. Go and buy this aluminium. This is aftermarket aluminium one, which is metal anyway, or just kind of aluminium. So say this one is this is the permanent solution. Do not use this one. Even if yours have not break, don't rely on it. It might strand you to the point that if you keep driving it that way, or if it's leaking gradually, you may get a point. Your food will finish. If you don't catch it on time, you burn your head gasket. Another one becomes a big repair. So change it beforehand. Buy this metal. Oh, let me show you another picture of it. Can see um, is somebody can see. So I see it here. This is the stock one, the plastic one that don't last. This is the aftermarket one. So personally, I don't know if such thing is available in Nigeria. If not, you can even construct this thing self. It mustn't be that you buy it like this. They already made one. But if it's available, why not? If not for me, I can construct this thing. The 406, 407, and 607 V6, they have something similar like this, which also do the same thing like they explained to us, that this thing will keep busting. So all my V6, that's what I did. I got them and I swapped them and put, but I locally now went and consulted something like this. I also did something like this for EW12 person, you know. Um, you can also do that, but my point, if there is already made one being sold, then it will save you that stress of trying to find who can construct a welder that can do something like this, So don't wait. This is a preventive maintenance. You need to apply if you buy G35. If you wait till it breaks, you might lose the engine in the process, or it will strand you that you might spend huge amount of money to tow the car. So another thing they now mentioned was the fuel gauge. I think it's one guy that said that, or three or four persons actually said it, not one person. If I'm not mistaken. Now the fuel gauge on the is G35. They tend to all of a sudden stop working or stop reading accurately. So you won't know again how much fuel you have. It works when it wants and it works not, sometimes it won't work. And none of them could be able to tell what usually causes it is probably the fuel sender in the fuel tank or the gauge itself on the instrument panel. They were not able to detect what the major cause or what usually is the culprit. So I'm just pointing it out. So it most likely, like in 407, most times is the fuel sender or the negative supply to the fuel sender. Now want the connection to the fuel sender. So we have a way of doing that. We just bypass, draw negative supply from another place and run it to the fuel sender. It solves the problem for good. If it's the connection issue, but most times it's the fuel sender. The fuel sender is the one they call on that fuel assembly. You see that gauge that is attached on it, that's the fuel sender. Or meter, that is attached on it. So I don't know if that is the case. If I were the one, let's assume I'm an expert, I'm a technician, or I'm a user of Infiniti G35. I must have figured it out by now, but I don't know why the others have not figured it. I can be able to tell if it's the first sender or not. By the time you get a good one that you're sure that is good and put it and it doesn't work, it's still doing the same thing, then you know it's not the first sender. Then by the time I'll go to the connection, confirm that the negatives and the positive, the negative supply to the sender is okay. The signal wire to the gauge is okay. Then you know that most likely is the fuel gauge. I don't know. Like I say, maybe somebody has figured it out, but I'm yet to come across such posts. So these are the only things I'll be able to find out about this G35 and G37. So I mean, so like I said, the good thing about this is manual transmission for such a car that produce over 250 horsepower, up to 300 and something horsepower. I mean, it makes sense. Though you could say for G35, yeah, um, it will make sense to just stick with um, the VQ 35DE. In other words, just to make it short, stick to this engine. Stick to this engine. If you live like in environment or if you live in Nigeria, don't bother with this one. Don't go for this one. For what I got, unless I'm wrong, you try with this kind of fuel quality you say in Nigeria, it will damage the engine. That's what they are claiming. So, okay, so I think that's all I have. So hopefully, you gain something from this if you are thinking towards this. I mean, like I said, I would love to test drive this car someday. Um, Either of the two. Um, would I want to buy one? No. I don't know. Not so sure. Even though it has very good power than other ones I've reviewed so far with manual transmission, especially the coupe. Like I said, coupe is what I'm more interested in. But I know some people most people will actually want V6 manual, but because most cars don't put it on their saloon, sedan, or station wagon, so they put it only on their coupe. So kind of discourage most time the married men that have children, for having such car, especially if it's the they can only afford to have one car. So coupe will not make sense in that case. But now you can get it in saloon. So that's a good thing about it. So um and the advantage again is the manual one has more power than even the automatic on the coupe, at least the G35. So you are looking at about 300 horsepower. 300 horsepower with about 360 or 60 something Newton mm torque. So okay, so till another video.